Welcome to Softcore History.
Hello and welcome back to Softcore History. My name is Jake Goldman, and it's a great day, isn't it, guys?
Sure.
I told Dan we should record outside today because it was so nice.
It is nice. Yeah, why don't we record outside?
And Dan said no. Dan was being a real grump.
Oh, you're going to hear the highway.
I'm going to have to, do 10 times the work. Yeah, that sounds so fun on Easter.
Like you were celebrating.
I usually always do, yeah.
What do you normally do for Easter, Dan?
I typically have the family over, and so in this situation, my sister, but she's out of town, and I make German food.
You make German food?
German food every year.
Schnitzel?
Yeah. Schnitzel, a little, potato
Stroganoff.
pancakes, some cabbage.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I barbecued some chicken today.
I don't care, man. That fucking sucks. Chicken?
Chicken?
On the Lord's Day?
Well, I'm also salting some steaks, but they need more time to salt.
Okay. Be better. Fucking chicken?
This is a kind of a...
I eat chicken every day.
I don't eat chicken every day.
Be better.
Oh, did you not see his fucking whole ass
chicken in the fridge?
rotisserie chicken in the fridge?
Yeah,
Just Dan's rotisserie chicken a day.
Dan has a personal vendetta against every chicken, and he's trying to eat them all one by one.
Yeah, Dan was actually the one throwing crows infected with avian flu at free-range chicken
The
farms.
fucking guy in Philly that did it 40 straight days and got all of that press, that should have been me.
Should have been you, but
Could be you.
You're like
Not anymore.
You're like the guy that was
I can
gonna
smash
paint
his
pop
record,
art.
though.
You were gonna paint pop art, but you waited a little bit, and then Andy Warhol came out.
Yeah,
Like,
you were gonna paint like a Coke can.
Well, Warhol is a content aggregator, so not an artist.
Yeah.
Well,
He didn't do that shit.
He was dude, his Instagram would be the best one going today, though.
Insane.
His Instagram would be so good.
He would just be a meme page.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's Fat Jew.
Yeah.
Well,
Or,
at least the fat Jew has personality and some type of charisma. It's not like Fuck Jerry. Fuck Jerry has nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck Jerry's probably
Actually,
more
that's
apt.
who I was thinking about. Yeah, that's probably Warhol would be.
Although
Fuck
I've
Jerry.
seen the Fat Jew do stand-up before at Whatever USA, the Bud Light event. And
Crushed.
yeah, just fucking incredible.
Slayed.
Just reading other people's tweets.
Just the sloppiest 45 minutes of comedy you've ever seen.
Wasn't my favorite. Yeah.
But yeah, for those of you that have never listened to the show, this is a history podcast. We cover things, that we like to cover throughout history.
Mm-hmm.
Bare minimum has to be like 20 years old. But yeah.
There's no hard and fast rule.
Dan's just came in wanting to give notes.
Yeah.
He's in a real notey mood
He
today.
had that vibe. Like, we told him his ass looked good, and he's like, oh, I don't eat ham. And it's like, what? Like,
Well, all right. Well, a little context.
no, I don't think I need to.
Rob said you got 2 hams back there.
I was like, yeah, I said,
Now you like the compliment. You smiled when you had to retell it.
Because
you
it'd be
little
weird
bitch.
if I just said, "Oh, you're like nice ass," but I don't like ham.
Well,
Like, there's no connection there.
but you smiled when you had to tell me the compliment you got. And that means you liked it. But you just gave notes. Why you like this? On the Lord's Day?
You want me to whip my dick out?
Why would I want that?
I don't know.
Seen enough coworker penises in my lifetime, to be honest.
Who have you seen?
Yeah, that's
A couple.
How many coworkers?
A couple.
2? Specifically 2?
I'd have to think about it.
You think about that. But yeah.
Yeah.
I lived with 4 of our old peers, and I never saw their dicks. Never saw Jared's dick. Never saw Bush's dick. Never saw Harrison's dick.
I've only seen one former coworker's dick, but that was my fraternity brother.
Was he a guy that would whip out his dick as
No.
like a
No, I lived with Joe.
little goof?
I lived with Joe for a while. You accidentally see his dick sometimes.
He puts his towel. He takes his towel off.
Yeah,
and
he
says,
just shimmies
"Look what I
around.
got for you."
Bit of a Joe move, to be honest,
A
but
little towel shimmy?
yeah.
Could be. I don't know. I never saw him do that. But anyway, yeah, it's Easter Sunday. More, to me, it's really just a great holiday because today is the last day of the Masters. That's the important thing happening right now.
Yeah, we're missing it right now.
I know, to record
Because
this
Rob
show.
wanted to record early.
I said we could.
I could.
That means he wanted to.
you wanted to.
Yeah.
No.
That's-
If we said 7:30, you would have been like, "Come on, man."
I always just assume you guys are annoyed that we have to record so late. So I was like,
Not
thought I was
really.
throwing you a bone.
7:30 to like 11 o'clock on a Sunday is kind of just like whatever.
And then I go home and
Anyway.
watch Succession.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna watch that tonight. That's gonna be I'm gonna be stoked for that. But yeah. So also, Jesus didn't die today. He rose, right?
Yes.
So learned that. We didn't kill him.
Yeah, your charges got dropped to assault, I guess.
Attempted murder.
Call the
Yeah.
ambulance.
Yeah.
Come on.
You should actually prosecute attempted murder harder than murder.
Because you're bad.
Because they weren't
couldn't
even
even
good
do
at
the
it.
job.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
like at least be good at what you're trying to do.
No, the person that they attempted to murder should be able to just like get like 10 minutes in a room alone with them.
Yeah, but what Jesus would just do what the Pope did:
What?
send someone else to kill you.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
He doesn't get his hands dirty
No. Jesus doesn't do that.
Cleanest hands in the game.
unless he's washing feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's different.
But and that's more of him just being into feet.
He's a foot guy. The original.
Whose feet
Foot
was he
fetish.
washing again?
A lot. He washed a lot of feet.
Yeah.
No bullshit. A lot. He washed a lot of feet.
The pores, right?
Yeah, I guess.
It must be clean.
Yeah.
Well, that's who we're talking about today. We're
And
talking
I
about
think
peasants.
also Mary Magdalene washed his feet with her hair,
Oh,
which is like
That's
some layered foot play.
that's also hair play.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a. Ooh.
That's like just this dirt play. You know what I
Jess.
mean? It's just like you're like stepping on her dirty hair with your dirty feet. It's
Jesse,
wet.
chill. You don't have to get that transcribed for millennia. You don't need to have that in the book.
It's in the book.
I know.
It's in our holy book.
Do you
He's
think-
making squishy sounds on her hair, just like, yeah, that's good.
It's just a textural thing, like a.
They like the sound and
Tactile,
yeah.
yeah.
They like the texture. They like the sound.
It's like an ASMR tactile thing. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, Jesus was a freak.
And-
Happy Easter. He's risen.
I think he was fingered by a number of men.
Jesus?
Yeah.
In that hole.
Well, yeah. They pointed at him, right?
No.
Doubting Thomas.
No. They
Puts-
fingered his holes.
What?
Yeah.
Jesus,
Doubting Thomas.
Jesus gets fingered
In his holes.
in his holes in the Bible.
You guys doing that thing where you're making stuff up?
I wish I was.
Okay, so you are, because
I wish I'm not making it up.
Yeah, we're not that creative.
what passage is that?
It's in his stigmata. They're like,
Oh, his hands.
Yeah, dumbass.
I always
what
forget
else
about.
is he talking
Jesus
about?
got extra holes.
I forgot about the holes. Well, wasn't he like bound up with rope?
No, he got
No.
Everyone typically gets.
Everyone usually gets rope. He got the. nails.
the higher level criminals get nailed.
Oh.
Because crucifixion is not like the nails are kind of like a red herring. You know, people think that he's bleeding out or that like they'll concentrate on the pain of that.
I believe
But,
you suffocate.
Yeah, it suffocates you.
Suffocation.
Which-
no breathing.
It's about the crucifixion. People don't know that.
Papa Roach.
Last
Yeah.
resort.
Yeah.
Saving humankind.
They're actually a Christian rock band. yeah.
Which is why those Filipinos are bullshit. Those Filipinos
They
that
don't
crucify
commit.
themselves, they stand like they get their hands nailed in, and I think they get their feet nailed in, but they're standing on a platform. They're not trying to
die.
just,
Fucking
they're not
pussies.
trying to not suffocate.
Get this. These guys whack won't die for Christ.
Yeah, it's fucking
Are
bullshit.
you even committed?
They're stealing
to this
valor.
Religion? Come on.
It's bullshit. Yeah,
Well, today we're talking about peasants.
Nah.
they give a peasant's effort.
Nah. We're gonna pivot.
You want to toss me another laptop with like a different episode on it?
Yeah, sure. Hang on.
Pause for 2 hours.
We probably should do that sometime. That'd be fun. Like just do it. Like write each other's episodes.
Oh, like a Jost and Shay thing.
Yeah.
So
Just give
yeah,
you fucked up shit.
but there's been a meme floating around for a while that I think is worth some scrutiny, and it goes like this: peasants in the medieval era worked just 150 days a year on average. The church believed it was crucial to keep them content by making frequent required holidays. Compared to a medieval peasant, you take fewer holidays.
Nobody wants to work.
No, man. Yeah, that is a lie that has been going around, but with like the anti-work crowd and like
Yeah.
socialists and like all that type of shit, where it's just like, first off, I can't think of anything like the most like important, I guess successful, I don't know if that's the right word, but famous socialist country of all time literally rebelled against the system of government they're talking about being better than today's, or system of economy and government really than today's. Like the Russian Revolution, the czars and shit like that, they were about 300 years behind every other monarchy
totally.
in terms of just the way they operated.
They were always behind.
Yeah, they were in the midst of reforming. I think Tsar Nicholas the First or maybe it was the second. I know the second one got killed, but one of those dudes was a big reformer.
Yeah, it was one of the Nikolai.
I actually think it was not the second. I think he was kind of maybe a little regressive or reformed, sort of out of necessity.
Yeah, to keep things in line.
Right, but there was a reformer before him in like the 1880s, 1870s, something like that.
Nikolai 1.5.
1.5.
1.5, yeah.
Yeah. But it was just a real quest for modernization after going to Western Europe and seeing how far ahead everyone was. They're like, shit, we got to start shaving these beards and cutting our hair.
Like miles ahead.
Yeah.
They were like weird, strange men from the outer lands.
Yeah, they were like, they looked like savages coming
We're like,
in.
get it together, guys.
Yeah, come on, you're huge.
Yeah.
Get it together. But at face value, that claim seems jarring.
Does it?
If it's true.
Well, it seems jarring either way.
Most one-sentence generalizations about life centuries ago usually are off. Like, you can't just sum up peasant life.
Can I give you one that's 100% dead accurate?
Sure.
It was worse.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk all about it today.
It was just worse.
There is a lot of nuance to that claim. While the claim, the amount of time they had off, might actually be true, we got to define a lot of that. We have to define a lot of what off time means.
Okay.
Because that's a huge part of it. That's where you lose the nuance of, they had 150 days of not working.
You want 150 days off, go work for the post office.
Yeah, so...
Be a teacher, I guess.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, so not only do we have to really figure out what peasants really did back then, we have to talk about what was considered work, and then even more so, what was considered off time.
Right. Let me tell you something as a father.
Okay.
Okay. Every second of the day is work. Work is easier. Like, coming to work is easier than dealing with stuff at home.
Well, guess what, dude? Every day is a battle fighting my demons, all right?
I know it is. Because sometimes you bring those demons with you.
I scream my day awake.
Into a pillow.
Into a pillow.
That'd be sick if you had night terrors.
A ghost bed pillow.
Of course it goes by a pillow.
Yeah. So someone actually brought this meme up on Ask Historians a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And
great Reddit thread. If you don't follow it, it is like actual high quality. It's not like because there's other ones like Ask History or just Our History where it's like, what would have happened if Hitler was black, or just like the dumbest shit.
You can go back in time and kill anyone,
right? But like Ask
shut
Historians, they like cite sources and like it's really fucking good.
Yeah, I'm one of the moderators for Reddit,
Ask Historians.
Yeah, no,
People don't know that.
They all are verified historians, though, too, I believe, with like credentials.
Some of them are. This is really bizarre.
I got my degree from ITT Tech, so.
A degree's a degree.
Yeah.
One of the moderators is also a moderator of Mizzou's SB Nation site, or like a power commenter on it. And he's like a journalist, I'm pretty sure. But he's a moderator on Ask Historians. So it's a little...
Is it Curry?
He said Mizzou.
Yeah, it's a Mizzou guy. So
He runs all of them.
It's
You
just
never
Curry.
know,
Curry
yeah.
is SB Nation.
Yeah. I mean, he ran the UT one.
Burn Orange Nation, I think is what it is. Yeah.
Well, this person, screen name Noble Devil Baruda, cites 3 sources. We actually have sources for the first time in the history of our show.
That's not true.
Well, I have sources all the time.
All the time.
Dude, my fucking episode last week.
I'm sorry, we do always have sources. My bad. We never mention them.
Yes.
And we won't anymore. I have them written here. We could mention the
Never do
sources.
it.
We're not saying them.
And by the way, like last week for my episode, I got almost nothing from Wikipedia. It was a magazine article, and then the other thing I found was an actual like academic paper that I found online that I got like a shit ton of information from. And I will never tell you what it is.
No, we're not going to say that shit. You know why?
Plagiarism?
What's it going to do? What's it going to do?
Yeah.
Be like, what? You're going to go read it? You can go read
You can go read the academic paper.
Do you think any teacher ever looked at a bibliography and was like, all right, let me go to that page?
These motherfuckers ain't check.
Yeah, come on.
That is the funniest part, is that unless they told you had to get it out of certain sources and they had those sources, like a high school bibliography, for example, you could write down whatever you wanted to.
It's called the fucking sources on the Wikipedia page.
Literally, you just use Wikipedia, steal it from the sources they cite, boom, done.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, and come on. You don't care. Anyway. The first thing we need to get into right up front is, what is a peasant? What is a peasant?
A poor.
Pretty much. Yeah, in the Middle Ages, the majority of the population lived in the countryside, and about 85% of the population would be considered a peasant. These people worked the land to yield food, fuel, wool, other resources like that, and for all intents and purposes, were not noble or of regarded status in society.
When you say, what's the time period again?
So this would be, we're going to be referring to Middle Age, medieval peasants.
So we'll be
basically.
talking like 800 to 1200?
We're talking like 1,000 to like
13, 15? I mean, there's,
15,
but 15's Renaissance, so like...
There's peasants for a while, though, man.
There's peasants...
Yeah. Now.
Well, right, but I would say there's peasants in the Dark Ages through the Upper Middle Ages and through the Renaissance, but like
We're talking
there's
like,
more of a middle class. So the further along you get,
the further along you get, there's a hierarchy to peasantry too.
Okay, yeah.
So
versus like if you're just some fucking mud shoveler versus
we're
like
gonna
if
be
you're
talking
like a
about-
blacksmith.
we're gonna
or,
be talking about serfs today.
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
much. Yeah. So
serfs are what white people called slaves that
Yeah.
were white.
yeah,
And lived in their white country.
pretty much. Yeah.
Did you know that Russia basically ended serfdom the same year the U.S. ended slavery?
Yeah.
They ended their serf system.
That's how bad
Which is like-
behind Russia was. By the way.
Right. Which is like essentially the equivalent of saying like, but it wasn't any better. It was the equivalent of saying like, oh, we freed the slaves, or the Emancipation Proclamation was in 1862. All better.
Yeah.
1863 on. Good to go.
Yeah, no more serfs.
Right.
And we'll actually talk about how crazy that is to just end it versus it naturally going away. Because like there's a progression to that and there's a reason for it.
There's a lot of people that would say that it is bad to do stark endings on not slavery per se, but like because that's just like a
Well, we're talking about an economic system. Like,
Yeah,
you
but-
can't just we're doing it different.
slavery was part of an economic system. Serfdom was the economic system.
And so we'll talk about that right now. So yeah, basically, the countryside of most of these medieval, like Western European or just European countries, really, was divided into estates. Those were run by a lord or an institution. A social hierarchy divided the peasantry. At the bottom of the structure were the serfs, who we're going to, talk about. They're legally tied to the land they worked. These are
That means owned, but better.
yeah.
It's a nicer way to say owned.
It's like they're basically stewards of that land.
tied to
They
the
have-
land is.
Yeah, they have to work the land.
They're RAs, really.
Yeah. Right. They can't leave their dorm. They have to be there.
Free housing.
Right, man.
Just do your job.
Just do it, man. Keep everything in line. So
They knock up on the other people's houses. Like, hey, smell something funny over here.
I don't want to be the bad guy.
You roasting a deer? You're not supposed to eat a deer. That's the Lord's deer.
That's the Lord's deer. That's a big thing we'll
Yeah.
talk about later, actually.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about the king's deer, the Lord's deer.
The lords get a lot.
I'm telling you I'm not fucking around when I say that protein is or like animal protein is kind of a luxury at this point in time.
Yeah. So also just to kind of
Yeah, if you're a soft hands, you don't want to go get it for yourself.
zoom
The
in.
soft hands were the only ones eating that fucking teen.
I would say we're going to be really looking at like around right before Charlemagne, like, and right after Charlemagne.
Who
That's
may
kind
not
of
be
the-
real.
Okay, so that's like the 700s to
Yeah.
the 800s.
Yeah, and then like up into 1200.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you believe Charlemagne was real?
I think so. Yeah,
He wasn't made up by the Catholic Church.
there is a weird amount of history about him specifically, and not a lot about people
Anyone else?
surrounding
Hey man,
him.
we did another episode on that. Was it on the Patreon? Patreon.com/softcore history, by the way.
Conspiracies.
The Catholic, that was my episode. The Catholic treaty they made up.
Yeah, it
Not
wouldn't.
that there was another one too where the 297 years they made up just flat out.
I know we haven't done that one yet, though.
We have.
We have?
Just like as a part of a Patreon
Oh,
episode.
okay. They just shoved it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, who we generally think of as peasants are serfs. They were obliged both to grow their own food and to labor for the landowner, aka the lord. They were in effect owned by the landowner, while there is a hierarchy with freemen, land renters, and highly specialized workers being near the top of this peasant hierarchy. Today, we will be discussing serfs. We will be using the terms serf and peasant interchangeably.
So do you know how this really came to be, by the way? It's wonderful. the way this system, the feudal system or whatever you want to call it, came to be, being tied to the land. So
yeah, I actually don't know how it started.
Once Rome was getting just absolutely run through by barbarians every fucking 5 years or every year, basically at the end, like a new just
With, like,
group
the
of
Germanic
Goths
people.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. People started fleeing the cities because the cities were getting sacked, right? So they would start going out to large estates of powerful nobles
Oh, are
who
you talking about Romanization? How they would send out the military people out into different colonies?
this is like at the end of the Roman Empire.
Oh, okay,
So
so
like
not-
476
not
or whatever.
during Romanization.
So this is like
Okay.
the normal city people. They were just like, fuck this, I'm getting out of it. Like getting looted and raped like every fucking year. Like it's like raping season, looting season, like every spring. I'm
Robin
done.
season.
It's always Robinson.
Yeah, I'm done with
Yeah.
this shit. So they go out. And they go out, and they like, and this is especially with the lower classes, the less skilled laborers, but even some of the skilled laborers, they just go out to these estates, and the rich people who own the estates can pay other people to kind of defend it, make it maybe not worth, unless it's a whole army, like make it not worth a military unit's time to attack it and stuff like that. So then these people obviously exchange their labor for shelter, essentially
Safety on land, yeah.
So they'll do a little, and then eventually, once things calm down, they're like, okay, we're gonna leave, and the fucking estate owner and his men at arms were like, no,
We like the fields being tended.
yeah, you should stay, you
Yeah.
will stay
Yeah.
and work.
And take what you need, but you can't
You
leave.
will, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I got this bishop to say that you definitely should stay.
Because
So,
it's my divine right.
yeah, so Jesus is telling you to stay now.
Yeah.
So stay.
Happy Easter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is, like, you could really go further and be like, that's a great argument for, like, being able to self-arm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is like being more able to defend. Now, society's not collapsing anytime soon the way like the Roman Empire did, but that's a funny. It's funny the way that.
buddy.
No, it's not.
The decay of society is happening right before our eyes.
Huh. It's weird. You know how long they've been saying that?
Forever.
Since it started.
Forever.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to.
The second
Everyone wants the apocalypse.
Yeah, everyone
second-
thinks they're important enough to live at like a
the end of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one wants to believe that they're just a fucking middleman.
Yeah, so that's a great tidbit about how serfs even came to be. But I just mentioned the responsibility of serfs, like we were just talking about. It's an interesting note on how labor was structured in the Middle Ages versus how it looks now. With the Industrial Revolution, the idea of work was revolutionized as well. So while there are some similarities between like the time periods and the type of like the way work is done, there's some minuscule ones, namely in taxes, and like you get taxed on what you produce. By and large, it's a completely different concept of work.
This would be the first time I might agree. Like if someone called this taxation theft,
Yeah.
I would be like, yeah, that taxation is theft.
Oh, it is, because they
Yeah.
have to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh, it's like the mafia, really.
That's theft.
Yeah, it's racketeering. Yeah. So for peasants, they were directly interacting with the means of production for almost everything in society, meaning that they not only produced for their lords or rulers, because like you could also be a serf for like a monastery or a college at this time, but they also produced their keep as well, what they needed to sustain, and they were allowed to do that. They could produce as much. I mean,
They're not worth shit dead.
yeah, exactly. So you got to think too, like the rulers are always gonna get their cut, right? The stuff that is made for them. Mm-hmm. But if they want to go make more shit, by all means, go for it. Because the more you make, the more we get too.
Right.
So they're gonna actually encourage that.
But they need the peasants need a surplus just to survive.
Exactly. So they're gonna grow extra anyway. So what's on top is for the peasant to keep,
Right.
basically. In industrial society, every aspect of production is specialized, meaning workers require a paid wage for an arbitrary amount of time worked. And this is actually the most interesting thing to me, is a peasant's work could be done for the day. Like, we don't have work that can be done in a post-industrial society. All work can theoretically be done forever. There is no amount of like, okay, all the seeds are planted. you can make shit forever in an industrialized society.
He can just keep planting seeds until he fucking falls over dead.
Right, exactly. That's why they went to a shift in wage system. Also, because if you work at, say, a steel foundry or something like that, you can't make a couple extra beams of steel and bring them home to your family.
Right.
To feed them. Like, it's not going to work that way.
Well, Mother, we've got about 3 beams home today. We're going to sell them for top dollar.
Yeah, because, again, also, you would be competing directly against the company you're working for by having to barter those beams.
Shave off some of that steel beam into your wine.
I agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, you weigh it down, for sure. But, yeah, you're creating a way more complicated method of trying to barter. You can't barter in that system as well because everything's hyper-specialized.
The only way you could barter is if... No, you wouldn't even barter. You would just steal and then sell it for money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why barter when you can murder?
Yeah,
Agreed.
well, I made a steel bat. I'm going to bash your head in with it. Don't give me things. Right. So medieval peasants, however, had to use the assets that were owned by the landowner to generate wealth for themselves and were only obliged to pay taxes determined by local authority.
By the way, owned by the landowner basically means owned by the state.
Yeah, exactly. It is who governs that space of land.
Yeah.
Yes. So they are the government at that time.
It's because it's not like a private landowner.
No, I mean...
It's a governor. Essentially.
Yeah.
Or a mayor. Or like, I mean,
they act
it's a
as
lord. A lord is a government official.
They act as a private land. In all intents and purposes, the way they behave is as a private landowner. But in theory, in a theistic monarchy, yes, they are the government as well. They are the governor through divine right.
They're an administrator.
Right. It's all the kings at the end of the day who is the head of government.
Yes. Unless, enough lords get together and decide, fuck you.
We're a new kingdom, right?
Right.
But yeah, it is the government. So yeah, taxes might not have necessarily just been part of production or a specific sum of money, though, but also various services such as forest cleaning, transportation of goods, or fortification maintenance. Basically, someone is always getting their cut when they own the means of production. So in this case, the means of production for serfs is land. Land is the means of production. They are working it, right? Like means of production in the Industrial Revolution is like, I own the foundry.
The factory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this time period, we don't have that kind of industrialization. So the greatest means of production is, if it's not for anything super specific, everything comes out of the earth.
Right.
So if you are the governor of the land, you own those.
Yeah, do they have the mineral resources for the rights? Like when they had the land?
They weren't using minerals.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, I guess they were. Like,
Metal and fucking stone and everything. I mean,
yeah,
they weren't.
Or, yeah, you're right. Or,
Yeah, they were using plenty of
they
minerals.
They
had the mineral rights.
They had the mineral rights.
Yes,
Yes.
they had the mineral rights.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it from like a...
Be like, we found
What,
oil.
like fucking battery?
Yeah. I'm still stuck in that industrialized. No, they just melted rocks. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, the rare earth minerals were really big back in the day.
Yeah,
I mean, gold, silver.
Yeah, gold,
Copper.
Still kind of hot, some say.
Lithium.
Addressing the meme now, though, historical texts, through them, we can pretty much comfortably determine that, yes, peasants had between 30 to 40% of the year off. And that's really likely to be true.
Lucky.
But
30 to 40% of the year off from their
feudal responsibilities.
Right.
Yeah.
They still had to do a million other fucking things.
And we're going to talk about all of them right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, this is the...
No
are you
beach?
sure?
No beach vacations?
Oh,
Or-
yeah, they didn't. It's weird. Like, on the 150 days off, a bunch of French peasants weren't going down to the Côte d'Azur and fucking hanging out in the French Riviera.
There weren't things like that existed even like as a conceivable prospect.
No.
Yeah, it's the idea of free time doesn't exist yet. That's where we are.
I don't know that the idea of free exists yet.
Oh no, certainly not that. But free time, downtime,
Right.
doesn't exist. So
Because they had too much of it.
I'm sure. Nobody wants to work.
Nobody wants to work.
I mean, they got drunk, though.
everyone got drunk though.
I honestly think they're probably working pretty drunk.
It's not like they're gonna cut their hands off with a buzzsaw. Everything's slow. It's a hand plow, dude.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen?
Just sit on that yak.
The worst thing that's gonna happen is you get kicked by an animal.
Yeah, just sit on that ox, let it drag the plow, and just get drunk.
Yeah, no one's gonna
Just get
no one
bombed.
gives a shit.
Go home, fuck your wife in the same bed all your kids sleep in while the kids are in there.
While they're awake.
That's a thing that happened.
All the time.
Also, I want to put something into perspective too. That 30 to 40% off isn't that much different from what we have now. So most modern workers work a standard 40 to 45 hours per week, meaning 8 to 9 hours of work on each of the 5 days of the week, and the free Saturdays and Sundays alone contribute to 104 free days. In most developed countries, you roughly have 8 national or religious holidays, each year with 1 to 3 weeks of paid vacation on top of it, bringing the average number of free days to that 30 to 40% range as well. So it's already coming out in the wash.
What's really funny about that meme is that it depends rightfully because people immediately fell into that, are stupid enough to fall into that thought line that peasants had like an 8-hour workday like we do.
Oh no. No. There is no not working.
Like they're just so stupid that they just immediately assume that peasants were also working 9 to 5.
Yeah, because here's the thing with the specialization of production of things. You no longer have to make everything. You don't. You don't have to. We'll get into it. So first, remember how specialization led to wage payment? Well, in medieval Europe, production almost everywhere was localized, meaning that all products local people needed and that could have been obtained in a given place were produced there.
We got to go back. #buy local. #small business
No
Tuesday.
one wants that. I mean, yeah, sure, support a local business, whatever. I'm not saying that, but you don't want things sourced.
By the way, that
It
local
sounds like you are saying that.
That local business is not local.
No,
I mean,
shit from everywhere else too.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's still a part of the international fucking economy.
Yeah, we got to stop globalization. Shut the fuck up. It's here.
Right.
It's over.
It's the
you're
even
fighting
the
a fight that was lost 100 years ago, dude. Like, shut up. It's done. If we reverted back to this, that would be because of some terrible thing happening in the world.
Or, hear me out, you live in Montana.
Yeah, no, they still get shit from everywhere else.
Yeah, they
You live on a ranch.
Do you think they're just rifling barrels out there?
I'm not saying they're not.
with American steel.
Yeah, they just got a foundry, and they've got like a buzz mill, and they've got a place to make lacquer for the gun handle, and they've got a place to fill ammunition, and they've got a place, they got all that.
They do.
They got a place to manufacture screws.
Isn't there
and
something?
nails.
Isn't there some kind of? There's some food that is like depressingly comes from Canada way more than the U.S. That's in the U.S. I forget what it is.
Syrup mafia.
There's that, but that's fine. I'm fine with them stealing that.
They should have that.
I just feel like they actually like have way too big of a share of our like cheese or something like that. I can't remember what it is.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me.
Step it up, Wisconsin.
I know. Well, Wisconsin doesn't let it leave the state. There's a bunch of
just
fat.
like Spotted Cow.
Yeah, that was a mediocre beer.
People don't realize this, but if you drink Spotted Cow out of the state of Wisconsin, they will arrest you.
I've done that.
Out. Yeah.
I'm wanted in Wisconsin now.
Yeah.
What's nice is
is that like one of those archaic laws or something like that? Is it like a Coors Light?
I mean, if you take it out of the state, you are
Trafficking beer.
Yeah.
That's not surprising.
Now, one thing I like to do is have sex with beer bottles.
You're
Are you one of
fucking the
those-
beer bottle, or you're fucking your wife with the beer bottle?
I fuck it and I'm getting fucked by it.
Wait, hold on. That means you have one of those weird dicks you don't like.
No, I jam it in there. It hurts.
Okay.
It usually cracks.
What?
I have a lot of scars on my penis. But I'm just saying,
But
I
the
like.
scars remind you that the past is real.
Yeah, I just like to make all my beer
Number
gay.
2. Pop Roach number 2 right there.
You can get a third one in by the end.
Oh, for sure. So yeah, as the medieval farmers were using crop rotation techniques, they weren't like one crop farmers like a lot of people think they were, and try to like, oh, they just grew their one thing and
Diversify
they took time off.
I'm sure they're growing,
portfolio.
whatever they're growing like flax for
Oh,
stuff.
dude, you're
and
so spot on.
barley. Obviously, you want to know a funny thing? Corn used to just mean the local wheat.
local plant. Yeah, the local
essentially.
grain. Yeah.
The local grain.
Maize, masa. Yeah, that's
Maize
what we
is
have.
like corn that we know now. That's just maize. Like, hey, they used to call anything corn. Whatever the local grain was.
Yeah, so usually there was a 2-field system known in the early Middle Ages, or a 3-field system introduced in the times of Charlemagne. That was popularized across all of Europe and serfdoms. There were a lot more crops with different vegetation times too. So because of that, they were working nonstop with winter cereals like spring cereals. They had lentils, they had flax, and hemp was one of the most common too. So at a minimum, they were sowing and harvesting twice a year, with the technology and the methods of doing so being shit.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it wasn't like they just went out on a tractor and laid fucking seed down and like plowed a field. Plowing the field probably took weeks,
Look
if
at
not
this.
months.
Look at it this way. Cotton harvesting or whatever didn't get revolutionized until the 1820s.
the
Until
cotton gin.
Eli Whitney.
Yeah.
Slavery was almost like dying. Cotton gin saved Americans' chattel slavery. Like, because it was so fucking inefficient and like cotton was impossible, picking all the seeds, whatever they pick out of it. Like once you harvest it and shit like
Yeah,
that.
before the cotton gin, slavery was a breeze.
No, it was
way harder.
worse.
They
But
were
it was
the
like
gin.
so inefficient that they were like, man, I don't know how much longer we can do this. And the cotton gin came along and they were like, we can do it forever.
Yeah, forever. A million years slavery.
Hooray!
Yeah. Right.
There was I want to say there was like, I read something once in like the 1850s. They tried to project out the number of slaves in the United States, like up to the 1920s. Like an economist did like a projection
Of how many would be required, or like
just how many there would be. It was just like a fun, like, oh, what's the population going to be in 2300? Do you know what I mean?
yeah. So
Just like a fun.
just was it a fuck ton?
Yeah, it was a lot more.
Yeah.
Than were emancipated in 1865 when the Civil War was over. But like, yeah, so I can't imagine what these people are doing if in 1820 or 1819, whatever the year before the cotton gin was invented, it was a fucking bitch to harvest cotton.
Yeah. So like, your work didn't end on 5 o'clock quitting
But-
time. It's like no, the plow needs to keep plowing,
Yeah,
dude.
it doesn't stop.
Yeah,
Is the
like-
sun up? Actually, we don't care.
Yeah, just get out there. And this is what they did for their lord. So yeah, remember how
So this isn't even their own sustenance yet.
Yeah. So remember how I said they earned their take directly from the means of production, in this case, land? Agricultural work was not limited to their field work, as virtually every household had a vegetable garden where the family was growing various plants for their own use that also required tending, sowing, and reaping as well. Second, and this is a big note, in most homesteads, peasants were keeping at least some animals.
I was going to say they had to have had livestock.
Yeah, hens were the most common as they were low maintenance, relatively cheap, and could reproduce rather easily.
They take care of themselves.
Yeah.
As long as you keep the
gotta
foxes
protect
away,
them.
but
Yeah,
that's about it.
You tend to them in that way. And they acted as an important source of protein, which, again, luxury, in eggs and meat when they weren't bearing eggs, if they weren't
Right.
egg-bearing chickens, right? But some had cows, sheep, and sometimes goats. For dairy products, pigs were raised for meat and leather. Horses and oxen were, of course, working animals. All these animals had to be tended to daily, and feeding, mucking, brushing, milking, collecting eggs, and, and related activities were an important part of a daily routine for most peasants.
Ask a motherfucker who works on a farm, like owns a farm now, when their day starts.
Yeah.
And they own it. And they have a good life.
Yeah, here's the thing. The cows don't know it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, shit, my bad, dude. I'll
Yeah.
come back.
Like,
Let me come back.
dudes who work, like, whenever, like, we have farmers on the other shows or whatever, like, they're like, yeah, wake up at, like, 3:30, 4 in the morning, start working at, like, 5:30.
Wahlberg hours.
Dude, yeah, seriously.
He's just farming gains.
Minus
though.
the mass.
They're bigger, actually.
No, I mean, like, sign of the cross.
Oh, of course,
Yes,
yeah.
religious mass.
Because Wahlberg's, like, a hyper-Catholic.
Yeah.
Do you think he does extra, like, on Easter and on Good
Reps for
Friday?
Jesus.
Definitely does.
Dumb
mess
as
with
Eddie.
you.
I would actually think it would be more on Good Friday, right? Like, you need that rage that Jesus is getting
pain.
crucified. Yeah, you need to get that pain,
Relate.
those
Yeah.
pain gains.
That would be a good core workout, getting crucified.
I kind of think so.
Yeah.
Like, I
Why don't
actually
more people do that?
would it be? Like, I mean, I'm being serious right now. Like, this is also a bit, but I'm being serious. Would that work your core?
Yeah.
It
It's
would
all
have-
core. You're holding yourself up.
Yeah.
So
That's a full body workout.
would you
my friend.
would you how long would you let us rope crucify you?
I'm not a big core guy.
I feel
Can
like
you
this could
make
knock it all-
friends?
This could knock it all out for like a month.
Could you make friends with a guy at the gym who's a big core guy?
Be like, can we crucify you?
Can we be like rope, not nail, rope.
You'll wear a fun hat instead of a crown of thorns.
Yeah,
In a softcore
We'll
hat.
put in like a Burger King hat.
No, a softcore hat.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to stay crown, but yeah, softcore hat's good too.
Yeah. What were you in the Stations of the Cross in 8th grade?
I was like I was like the main altar boy, so I was right with the priest, like moving from station to station.
I was a Roman soldier. I got to whip my buddy for
Sick.
all the stations.
No, I was doing. And by the way, it was better to be on the Stations of the Cross than sitting there having to like listen to it because at least you were moving.
I was in the guy that was like, and the crowd goes wild. I was that guy during the station.
Well, actually, you were the guy screaming, Barabbas! Barabbas!
cool. I don't get it.
Free Barabbas.
No, you were
Oh, right, the other one.
Yeah, free Barabbas.
Jake was under Judas's tree, just picking up the silver.
Get it.
Get paid. Get that money. So, yeah. I'll let Rob recover for a second.
It's a deep cut.
Yeah. Deep Catholic cut. And it cuts in my ego. So,
And
yeah.
and you're Judum.
My Judum?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's
I
called.
think that's the worst term we've used.
Judum?
Yeah. It's not great.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's not good.
Well, as a Jewish man, I can say it.
That's true. You are a
Yeah.
Portuguese Jew.
So larger herds had to be led to a pasture, guarded, and then brought back, making this an all-day, everyday job. But since you were doing it for your own needs, this was not considered work.
Right.
So how much work could you be doing
which
in
again,
an off day?
is like me saying, "Oh yeah, I only work from 9 to 5," and like people be like, "Oh, good, you get the rest of the day off." Like I don't go home to my fucking kids and deal with my children, and like make dinner and clean the house or anything like that.
Yeah, it's a minimal amount of work though compared to what these people had to do.
Oh, I know, but
Yeah,
that's what I'm
but
saying.
Yeah,
like
it's still stuff
Okay.
you have to do.
I'm sorry. The wife's not working. She's just like getting the house ready. She's making dinner.
what wife? The peasant wife?
The peasant wife.
Oh, we're gonna talk about dinner in a second.
Yeah, they're making shit from scratch. I get it.
First off, peasant wife is out in the field with peasant man.
Yeah,
They're
until a
all
certain
in the field.
part
The
of
fucking
day.
8-year-olds are in the field.
Yeah, so like,
Well,
for
why
instance-
else would you have kids?
Yeah,
Literally.
the kids were actually most of the time the herders because it's like, oh, they just wave a stick around and move them from place to place. The younger kids would actually do a lot of
But also,
livestock tending.
these peasant women did way more than your wife now.
Well, obviously.
They did more than anyone now.
Yeah.
So just throw it in her face every now and then.
I will, of course.
Say you have a cow, for instance, though. An average modern cow requires about 60 liters of water per day, and wells likely couldn't provide that amount of water without running dry quickly back then. This means that at a minimum, on days the cows weren't grazing, you're making about a dozen trips to a river to just watering one cow. Like, that's your entire day. Maybe it's your day off and they're not grazing. Your entire day is spent just going and getting water to bring back.
Oh, you don't? Do you take the cows to the river? Maybe a little bit of A, a little bit of B.
Probably a little bit of A, a little bit of B. If you have an ox, I guess it's not bad because, like,
Yeah.
you can bring the ox with more jugs.
Yeah.
But not everyone had that.
Oh, dude, just carrying 2 buckets of water back and forth from a river constantly.
Yeah.
Fuck that. And you're doing it on that one of those sticks that are on your back.
Yeah, totally. It's exactly how you think it's going. It's not fun.
At least
It's
you're
backbreaking work.
dude. You'd be jacked if you had a good diet.
Yeah.
but you didn't. So
Yeah, you probably weren't getting enough protein.
and
You were
I
probably
mean,
just skinny.
first off, yeah, you were like a preemie baby.
Yeah.
You know, barely. It didn't get good. Your mom wasn't eating well while you were in the womb. Probably drinking. Would have smoked if she could have.
Yeah.
But she was inhaling probably a lot of smoke just from the fire in the home.
Yeah, probably not breathing in great shit either.
Yeah.
Just in the mud all day.
Stomping around in mud and shit.
Yeah, probably has a lot of infections just in general.
Yeah.
The third thing here to consider is that villages were largely self-reliant, especially in the early Middle Ages, which means that everything had to be produced by peasants themselves, and I mean everything. So even basic meals such as bread or oatmeal required preparation from scratch, and firing up the primitive stove was a huge task.
This is why I feel like there's a lot of people now who still think like, oh wow, like the idea of like the Silk Road, not the cool drug one that guy from Austin made, but
Ross Ulbricht.
yeah, who like went to high school with a bunch of people we knew.
Yeah. Still in jail.
Yeah, but the old original Silk Road.
Yeah.
People are kind of like, yeah, that's neat. It's like the first one. That's blah, blah, blah. But whatever. You know, like people probably don't understand how fucking mind blowing it was to have international trade on that scale, and with that consistency, I guess you could say.
Yeah. It's pretty miraculous, especially too because that bred a lot of opportunity for raiding.
There's a reason people murdered for spice.
Yeah. Spice.
The spice.
Yeah, so cooking a meal, basically just getting the stove fired up took fucking forever, and we'll talk about why that was hard in a minute. But
You had to give the Lord 30% of your fire,
yeah, that's
right?
true.
You'd start the fire, and they'd be like, all right, pull 3 logs out.
Yeah.
Not a
Third.
ton of seasoning, even for whites.
No,
No.
likely none.
None.
Yeah, maybe some herbs.
Yeah, I mean, they could pickle things back then, I think, right?
I don't know.
So,
Probably. I would imagine so.
You
Yeah,
know.
but you gotta be careful how you pickle things. It could be lethal.
what?
When you self-pickle,
Oh yeah, you got to be really careful. You can get fucked up from
You can
pickling.
get in the
wrong.
danger zone with pickling.
How?
It kills you.
This is new
Like,
to me.
you have
It's
to
poison.
you have to vacuum seal it correctly.
And if you don't, it's poison.
Oh, I just quick pickle it.
Yeah, quick pickling. If you're gonna eat it within like a week, you're good.
Yeah.
But no, you.
Oh, I let it rest in the fridge for months. Like I do the quick pickle and I just leave it.
Oh, yeah, you gotta be careful, man. Don't do that with meats.
Oh, we only do it with meats. We make our own corned beef for the babies.
Okay, do your thing, man. It's America.
Thank you. I agree.
Yeah.
Get out. Keep your fucking opinions out of my life.
And then when I go on dates, I'm like, hey, can I interest you in a quick pickle back at my place? And they're always disappointed when I actually give them a pickle.
A pickle. Yeah. They're like, this man's right to the point. I like it. Then you just hand them a.
That tastes like a quick pickle.
It's funny. It's not even your pickle. It's just like a 7-Eleven one that you bought. And
It's a Big Mama.
Yeah,
in
that
the
he brought
plastic
home.
bag.
Just a giant jar. Yeah.
On a rare occasion, when the animals were slaughtered, meat and leather had to immediately be processed to avoid spoiling. Cutting, mincing, sausage making, and smoking usually took days. And depending on the number of people involved, that could range from just like the day to up to 3 or 4. So preparation of food for the entire family could have been construed as a full-time job for a single person. And as we mentioned in another episode, this didn't really change until the introduction of refrigerators, gas, and electric stoves. And for some rural areas, this didn't happen until the second half of the 20th century.
Post-war, yeah.
So, again, keep in mind the amount of shit you don't have to do anymore. Convenience. The convenience you enjoy.
No way, man. Just vibes. Just vibes.
But people forget, like, they're like, well, we don't have control of the means of production. It's like, but that also does grant us conveniences now. Huge ones. Like,
Also, that just seems like the normal default setting for history.
yeah.
Is not having full but actually you have more control as a consumer than you would as a
On a
serf.
micro level, to an extent.
Or I suppose a free market gives you more control of
because, well, people wouldn't buy things
Right.
that aren't good. But, there's a way to... that's how you have to counter cornering of markets.
nobody's boycotting shit on fucking the Duke of who gives a fuck.
Can't boycott it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're making your shit too.
Right.
So
Same
it
stuff.
has to be good. Like, you can't just make bad crops for the king.
It feels like life is better now, but I don't know. What do I know? A meme told me the opposite.
That's where we're going with this. Basically, it's like, so food was not the only thing that was made by peasants, who also had to create their agricultural tools used for all the work in the fields and around the house, such as
so
rake,
shitty.
flails, plows, carts, or wheelbarrows.
That's so shitty. Hey, you can't leave here. Start making the tools to work the land, bitch.
Can you imagine if you had to make your laptop? You had to make your own laptop to go.
If I had to make a pen.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like what?
But again, even simple
paper.
stuff. Yes, even simple stuff like baskets and utensils had to be crafted and carved by the peasants. Every plate they had to eat off, every fork, every little bucket they made. So they had to fire up the kiln if they wanted plates. Like, everything they touched was made by them.
Just vibes, bro.
Nothing I touch is made by me. Like, nothing. Almost nothing I touch was created by me.
Yeah.
It was bought with the money I got from helping create something else.
The only thing I could say is that my kids, but I can't be sure. I never did a test.
Clothing was even made locally, and that required preparation of materials and production of garments. These were incredibly painstaking activities. This is the stuff that was done when the sun went down, by the way. All of this shit.
Oh, it wasn't just a big party with grog and fucking in the bed with your kids. But you're not fucking. You might be fucking the kids. There's a lot of fucked up people back then. But you're at least even the nice ones are banging their wife next to the kids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all done probably in the same bed in some
A
circumstances.
bed you had to make.
Yeah, you had to make that bed. Everything you had to you had to make everything, and that's when you weren't working the Lord's fields. That's what you were doing. So, shit. Think about it this way: like your house. You have to make that. You have to build that house yourself. But you're not building a nice fucking house. You're not building what we live in now, like a craftsman home.
Oh, it's not the same as me when me and my wife are like, oh yeah, we built.
Yeah,
We built.
you paid someone to build it for you, right?
No, we built.
So on a windy day, like these are thatched roof log huts. They have to go put the roof back on a strong wind day. Mm-hmm. If it's the winter, they have to continuously pack their fucking walls with moss to make sure shit's not getting cold in there.
Yeah, or fucking animal shit.
Or animal shit. And speaking of animals, they live in the fucking countryside. Remember, it's not like, oh, the burbs.
Right.
They live in the woods for the most part, or in the fields.
So I'm just like these people.
You're
Build our house.
Yep.
Live in the countryside.
Yep.
So like
I mowed my lawn the other day, worked the land.
yeah, you're basically like a little lord.
I am a lord. Yes, I'm sort of like a hands-on lord.
You're
I'm like
paying
a cool-
property tax.
You're like a
and
DIY,
mortgage.
a self-sustained, like low overhead lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're not really a lord because you don't own your home yet.
Oh, the bank owns it.
Yeah.
The banks are the lords.
The banks are the lords. Overthrow them. Start making your own clothes.
Yeah. So basically, like the other thing too is animals tried to knock their houses down all the time. Wild animals, which is
What?
like deer, bears, shit like that.
Why would a deer try to knock their house down?
Well, they're like
They're
rutting.
bucking, dude.
They're running on the house.
Yeah, like shit like that, dude. Like boars and shit like that. They would like go try to eat the moss out of the fucking.
Oh
like,
fuck! Wait, I mean, would that be maybe chili? It's free meal. Like meals just walking up, you can murder.
hopefully. But yeah, that's the thing. Actually, no, you can't do that. You know why? You're allowed to hunt birds. Maybe you can kill something if it's trying to kill you.
Yeah,
By and large, all game.
it's not yours to kill.
It's
Pretty
the
much
Lord's.
proven though why you need assault rifles for wild boar.
That I know that got memed to death. I 1,000% agree with it.
30 to 50 will just come together and
It's
attack.
just
Dude,
the amount of
30 to 50, one boar.
one boar will
one
fuck
boar.
you up. Fuck
Yeah.
your kids up.
Yeah, they don't just like waltz up to you.
I
They
honestly-
travel and sprint at you.
The amount of like just Brooklynites, hipster types that like, and like I don't know either. I was like I read that and I was like 30 to 50 seems like a lot, but all right, sure. But like the amount of people that were like, like they just like can't imagine not living
well, Rob,
essentially in like
they constantly post photos of the driest meats and say Brooklyn barbecue's the best.
it's
Unparalleled. Yeah, because no one wants to be the same as that. That's dog shit.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
it is unparalleled. I'll give you
Yeah. That's a great way to put it because it's not a compliment.
yeah.
Suck it, New York.
Yeah, so peasants again were required to do the work of their lords on their lord's behalf, but that didn't include just the fields. No. This work mainly means infrastructure. So they had to build the roads, they had to build the buildings, they had to get the resources.
Oh yeah,
to
any
do so.
public works any public work situation, they're on it.
Yeah, I want to see these people that are like, oh, we need this kind of society. It's like, are you going to be out there with a pickaxe and a fucking Imagine if the mayor showed up and was like, hey, man, this is like...
You just get drafted into making a road for
This
a
is-
month.
dude, this
people
is what
bitch
you
about
wanted.
jury duty.
Yeah, no, exactly. They're going to be like, this is what you wanted, man. Full access, full community support.
Yeah.
That means you grab a shovel today. I know it's Saturday. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
You got to build this road.
What was on TV? You college football? Shut the fuck up.
Get out here.
You're stomping it.
We have to build a library. Fuck you. Right? So, like, that's where that dumbass shit goes, where it's like, everyone needs a shovel. It's like, I don't see a lot of y'all doing much outside of a computer. So, like, I'm included in that. I shouldn't
Right.
be building a road.
Which is why, by the way, I'm pretty pro immigration. They're the ones that will use the shovels.
No one is saying that immigrants are not industrious people.
I'm not saying that either.
Yeah, I know.
But they tend to be the ones.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What is this, like a 30 Rock thing? It's like the first generation like breaks their backs, their hand, bloodies their hands, making a better life for the second generation. Second generation goes to college. Third generation just becomes like a total waste of time.
Yeah, they stick their dicks in blenders.
Yeah.
That's the old saying.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hadn't heard that.
What?
Exactly what Rob said, and then the third generation sticks their dicks in blenders.
That feels like an art project I've heard of.
I don't know where to go with that. I can't even unpack that.
You been to some cool art shows?
Yeah.
Some cool Latinx
Actually,
art shows
I-
with the blender?
You know those?
How do you unpack it?
Here
You
it
just
is.
blend it. Yeah.
You don't need to. It's liquefied. Just pour it in a jar, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so last but not least, let's talk about the holidays that they got off. Now, generally matching the number of free days nowadays.
MLK Day.
Yeah. On Sundays and church holidays, peasants were generally visiting the local church and taking part in the ceremonies that happened afterward. And there are a lot of them. There's
Yeah.
a lot of holidays and a lot of Sundays, for sure. Here's the thing. Who do you think's throwing the party? You think the king's out there making punch? You think the Lord's out there like, oh, it's your day?
Or I'm sorry, what was the episode we did? Dan's Riot episode. Who's out there making those pretzels and not making enough of the pretzels?
Yeah.
That people are going to riot over and murder over.
Makes you think. Makes you think. Why'd they do that? They wanted to start some ruckus.
So it's like, oh, it's Easter? We're going to have a big feast. Start getting the fucking game out of the smoke den. We're going to need you to process
Did you guys
all
fuck
this.
today?
Today?
Yeah, Easter is a celebration of
Life.
sexuality.
Estra? Talking about the pagan Estra?
Yeah. Did you guys bone?
I was saving it for this evening.
Yeah, dude.
In front of your family? God. Gross.
Yeah, I'm right in front
Yeah.
of Wheeler.
Kind of old school like this in the same bed with your kids.
Like I say, baskets in the morning, box in the evening.
It's good.
Eggs all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eggs on both sides. Start with brunch, end with munch.
He don't miss. Kid number 3 on the way.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Any visit of the local lord or his representatives due to some administrative work also required reception and preparation. While it might suck having to make a slide deck for when a board member is in town, at least you don't have to throw a festival, prepare all of his meals, and build a hotel room every time he is in town.
God. And then go back and grow your own fucking food.
Yeah.
Feed your own
If you have the time. But
Right.
this is your downtime. So
This is your
You're not working.
Yeah.
Eh.
No, man, they got so
Actually,
much.
this is work, but
Yeah,
but this is
dude.
for
There's
not work.
vibes. They're just vibing around the campfire. Think about that.
Yeah.
Definitely not working constantly.
They were also pocketing some shit they were working on.
Maybe, dude, you can get the people got caught doing that, and it didn't super go well.
I feel like everyone did it. And the people that did get caught, well, you're just dumb.
Yeah, you make an example out of them, I guess, too. You know, you're not going to stop it, but curb it.
There's someone that's afraid of consequences.
You just don't
Right.
want it to be blatant.
Yeah,
There was like a code, right?
you got to respect it. Like you can't kill a 10-point buck and roast that next to your front door,
No, you can take like a hoof.
or you can kill
You
like
just kill
maybe
a
like
doe.
a baby boar. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
no one's gonna notice.
Oh, yeah. Also, I totally forgot to mention this. The reason why stoves were fucking hard to fire, you're not allowed to cut down wood in the Kingswood. So, yeah, you have to collect deadfall and kindling. That's your firewood.
God.
All fires we make, by and large, are with chopped wood.
Right.
So that's easy to ignite. That
Yeah.
burns for a long time.
Well, I think that would be the bigger issue is that it burns for a long time, whereas the kindling and dead stuff is just like
It's going to burn up quick.
yeah.
So you need a fuck ton of it. So a lot of time is spent
Not
gathering
even
wood.
sear on your food.
Well, would they? I assume, like in the Old West, they would use like dried bison shit. Would they use a lot of like dry cow shit and stuff?
I'm
for
sure
fuel, I would
I'm sure
assume?
they used a lot of
They
it.
had to. Have.
Yeah, I imagine
Really
they used
brings out
whatever
the
they could.
flavor. Yeah.
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 What did you smoke this with? Oak, mesquite,
Bison shit.
Yeah, no, just cow shit, just dry cow shit.
Yeah.
Pulled it right out of the wall.
Stuck it in the kiln. Yeah.
How'd they build their house? Did they at least get like a break? Like, okay, you're allowed to cut down X amount of trees to.
I imagine. Well, you were allowed to cut down trees with the permission of the Lord.
Okay, so the Lord would be like, all right, you're allowed this many trees to make your house.
Yeah, that pretty much.
Maybe,
Exactly.
okay.
They had like a quota or a cap or whatever. But yeah, so I'll just basically sum it up. Like, yeah, they had more days off, but also their direct tie to the means of production, and also the amount of free time they didn't have because they were spent. They basically did control how much income they could get, like how much wealth they could accrue.
We all do.
It
Baby.
feels like they had a hard ceiling.
Yeah, they did. It's called time. Basically, the amount of shit that it took them just to sustain life. Like, if they wanted more on top of that, there wasn't really time to do it.
Well, you can't just grind. You can't be like, bro, I planted wheat for
Yeah, you
48
can.
hours straight.
I mean, there was
Yeah,
like
you can.
There was like bartering and
You gotta be
certain
your own
markets
boss.
and stuff. But like, you're never going to get to the level of owning land.
You got to have a side hustle.
What was that side hustle?
Do you
See,
think
actually,
they had entrepreneurs back then?
they had to have.
They did. So yeah, the higher up people in the peasant hierarchy were actually like blacksmiths or basket weavers or
Right.
people that could do things really well.
Where it would be a waste of time to have them.
do anything.
Here's my
Right.
7-step program. Someone's slinging that from town to town.
First, you're gonna start weaving baskets.
I feel like there's a lot of. I mean, some people owned like pubs and stuff. Got to feel like there's a good amount of people running prostos.
Yeah, I guess there's probably some.
Madame.
There's like certain town is extremely loose here too, but like town institutions, there's probably a gathering place.
I mean, there were cities. Obviously, the Vikings sacked Paris and stuff like that.
Yeah, but we're talking about like the 85% of countryside.
Right.
Yeah, we're not talking about people that live.
But there would maybe be like a little bit of a city center.
There'd be like some sort of gathering spots and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and like a gathering of the Juggalos.
Yes,
Honestly, these all probably look like gatherings of the Juggalos.
They've been around a lot longer than you think.
just without the makeup.
Even before ICP.
The Juggalos,
No,
Juggalos have been.
ICP was born out of Juggalos.
Yeah.
It's actually a secret society that's been around since the Stone Age.
It's sort of the other side of the Illuminati coin.
Yeah.
Right? The Illuminati is the upper crust, the elite. The Juggalos, they're the mud people.
Yeah, but they're like connected.
So that's why they're on the terrorist watch list.
Dude, it is insane that they're on that. Like, more than 3 of them can't get together in a room or something, or else it's considered a federal conspiracy.
That was like any fraternity event. Technically, at UCF would be anybody. If you go out with 3 other brothers, there's 4 people in your fraternity present. It's a fraternity event and had to be registered.
So
Yeah, no one
every
did.
time,
Obviously, it was never held.
I was about to say no one ever
accountable.
did
that sounds impossible.
Yeah. You go to a bar, it's a fraternity.
Right.
Sorry, you want me to file paperwork every time I go to the bar?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That'd be funny if they did that. That'd be funny. You guys should have like over paperwork, like done it so much that they just like they came into their office, Monday morning
sorry.
with just like
I'm sorry. The idea that people that voluntarily got into IFC as an adult after college don't love pointless paperwork is a laugh to me. They probably would have loved that.
I think you can get them to some degree where it's too much.
But I don't know, man. They might have gotten really into it.
That's
They probably would have just started tracking you.
yeah, fucking boners.
But yeah, so sure. They may have more time off than you, but shut the fuck up. Your life is so convenient.
They didn't have more time off than you.
They had more days not working for the man.
Technically, yeah.
But here's the thing. Like, the way our work is distributed now and the way things are separated from means of production, you also have a really easy way. Like, you can, believe it or not, do more shit to make way more money and exponentially earn more wealth than these people ever could by grinding.
Bit more
Yeah, you're
social
gonna get
mobility.
a couple people
Yeah.
under you. They're gonna get people under them, and you just move yourself up.
Yeah, it's hard to start a pyramid scheme when you are already the floor of the pyramid. There's no one under you. You're a peasant. So,
Build a new floor.
Well, they build the pyramid out of you.
yeah, you are the pyramid.
Yeah, your bones are the pyramid.
You're the throne they sit on.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to go back to living like a peasant, I would suggest getting every sort of skill under the sun to make everything you.
By the way, you
possibly
can do
need.
that. You're free to do that right now.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you want to live if you want to like, live the talk you're talking,
Yeah.
start making everything.
Make
from
your
hand.
clothes. Yeah.
Go kill the animal that made your shoes, or go figure out how to process, make fake vinyl. I guess. Go figure out chemistry. So you can make your fake plastic shoes. Like, if you don't want to wear leather, if you're fucking vegan or something, right? Like, it's all kind of trash. And this is the
Or
best time in the world to be alive.
Just walk barefoot.
or
Build
walk
up that
barefoot.
mitochondria.
Get the mitochondria up. That's right. What'd you guys learn today?
Nothing really.
I mean, yeah.
I learned, man, I don't know. I'm trying to think because there was just so much to unpack. I already knew that people were idiots and shared memes. It's very, very funny to me that like it's always like one side gets blamed for sharing memes and thinking it's real life when it's
It's
every
everyone.
fucking moron
Everyone.
online.
Oh, this aligns with my opinion. I'll share this. Yeah.
But I will say, I think I mostly learned. Actually, no. What I really did learn was how hard it was to start a fucking fire back then. Like they were fucked. I don't know how they cooked anything.
No, dude, it took all the wood all the time.
Can't use Kingswood.
Can't use the Kingswood. Let's get permission. Yeah, I kind of railroaded this point because the meme pissed me off.
Oh, I also didn't realize that wild animals are just walking up to people's houses trying to knock it over.
Maybe not knock it over per se, but like
But like
destroy-
accidentally knocking it over.
Just an actual wolf blowing down his
Yeah.
hay
Yeah,
shack.
they're out there living like Goldilocks shit, dude. Or three
Three
little
Little
pigs.
Pigs.
Three little
Yeah.
pigs, yeah.
Yeah. Except the three little pigs were the ones trying to knock your shit down.
They all were.
Yeah,
all
animals.
together.
All the animals.
They didn't have a brick house back then.
No, they didn't. I mean, some might have, I guess, later on.
There was like clay. I don't think there's a type of brick
Was
that
it like
we would.
DOP or like, I don't know.
Brick is older than Christianity, but it's just not the type of brick you're thinking of. I think it's more like clay or whatever.
Not red.
Not the red hard.
Bricks.
Probably just concrete brick. Really,
Who's Hitler?
The pores.
that meme.
That meme is Hitler.
Yeah, meme is Hitler.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't know, man. I kind of went on drank a couple drinks, got a little angry at a meme,
That's the way to do it.
and I had to dive.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it for our show. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/softcorehistory. Leave a review. As always, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars. Leave a review. It helps us go up the charts. Or
Spotify, just 5 stars.
Just 5 stars on Spotify. Check out our website, softcorehistory.com, for merch. If you're a Patreon subscriber, you get 20% off with the code SOFTY.
And by the way, Patreon, we say like, oh, you get 2 extra shows a week or whatever. At this point, if you're a listener to this show, and not Patreon yet, you already know that all of our shit's evergreen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just you're getting 2 shows a week. You're getting a fucking
catalog, monstrous
catalog, all evergreen. It's the same shit like this, or watch alongs and stuff. But again, that's evergreen too. You're not paying $5 a month for just those 8 episodes.
Point, we've done a year of Patreon content.
Yeah. I mean, it is a massive backlog.
So hours to get you through your workday, or your drives.
Yeah, totally.
Your sexual conquest.
Think of it this way.
Like if you just throw us on while you're banging your lady or your man.
Yeah.
It really sets the mood.
That'll actually come up in a call-in episode in a week or 2.
Okay.
Yeah, but one last thing.
Ahoy, ahoy.
If you want to call in and be on our voicemail line, that's 512-981-5143. Again, that's 512-981-5143. But other than that, yeah, join the Patreon. Get 3 times as much content as you normally do.
Help me pay my bookie.
Yeah. But for Rob Fox and Dan Rochester, I'm Jake Goldman.
You just got soft served.